Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow. Und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer, Steiner
konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodl, Krebs und Burgdorf.
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer schickt Sie? Dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen!
Am I muted? Can you hear me? Hey, what's up, all you freaks and disasters? I'm Nate Houseman, your guide to the 21st century. And as I was saying, I got ADHD, I got Tourette syndrome. Executive dysfunction is a mother effer, so I can't. It's hard for me to do these consistently, but hey, we got to talk about really public safety, self-defense. Tim Pool's Civil War that he keeps predicting. I won't say it's here, but we're just going to protect ourselves. I got a lot of stuff to go through. First of all, we're going to talk about gangs taking over apartments in Colorado, Haitians taking over communities in Ohio, and who God knows where else, human trafficking, P. Diddy, the second attempt on Trump's life, and how we got to be prepared and be ready to defend ourselves. We have a right to defend ourselves, no matter what the so-called leaders in your state say, because any gun law, any law regulating weapons is illegitimate. That was settled way back when with the Supreme Court decision Marbury versus Madison. So I want to open with this tweet by who is it? Devin Erickson. Yeah, he's commenting on this thing here. Military will tell you a commoner does not need an AR-15. My former son has one, and I heard it splitting trees in the woods across from ours. Quite a distance there. Most men need these kinds of weapons to make their dicks feel bigger. This is by someone called Dental Fairy, and Devin Erickson has this to say. He says, every once in a while, one of these assholes says the quiet part out loud. This is why the statists can always trot out someone who served in the military and carried one of these weapons of war who thinks they have no place in our streets. Never mind that the guy is usually an officer whose actual weapon was Microsoft PowerPoint. Never mind that he touched an M4 exactly once or twice a year to requalify. Never mind that being a soldier of any description doesn't make anyone necessarily a firearms expert, much less a policy, law, history, or human rights expert. These guys and their cloud of family members are being weaponized to shut up people who didn't serve the regime. Cops, too. What's standard for them is they get to feel special. They are not ordinary, icky commoner peasants like you or me. They are elite agents of the state, the special people. And what makes them feel special is having special privileges that you don't get. If they were capable of objective reasoning for 30 seconds, they know it doesn't make a damn bit of difference if you have an AR-15, an M4, an M243, or a damn FGM 148 for that matter. Because you are a white middle-class professional with a strong moral compass, and the only thing you would ever shoot is fake targets until and unless the situation became so dire that violence really was absolutely necessary. But of course, they don't want you to think that way. They want to think of you as untrustworthy, incompetent chucklefucks. Why? Because their self-image demands that you be inadequate. If you want an example of how this works, look how venomously the left hates Kyle Rittenhouse. Why? He's anathema to them in every way. He's nothing special, really. Not exceptionally tough, not exceptionally smart, not some sort of SOG, SEAL, Delta, MARSOC, operator ninja, just an ordinary, chubby, baby-faced teenager. And yet, with a cheap Palmetto State Armory AR, he went 3-0 on one of their weaponized mobs of commie thugs, all while acting with complete restraint according to the letter of the law. Flawless victory. This is why they make up shit about him being a murderer. This is why they mock his appearance. This is why they mock him for crying on sand, a perfectly reasonable reaction to the memory of having to take a human life, which actually speaks well of his moral character and capacity for empathy. The weaponized commie thug underclass hates him because he revealed how vulnerable they are. That they are not the invincible tide of power that we fear. That the only reason we haven't buried what's left of them in a lunchbox is that we are decent people who hope to stop their insane communism without having to resort to stuff like that. But the sadists, the middle-class quislings who whine about how no one needs weapons of war, hate him for a different reason. Not only because he revealed that any free person does, in fact, need weapons of fucking war, at least if he wishes to remain free, but also because he revealed one simple basic fact that they desperately don't want you to know. You don't need the state to defend you. They call you sheep. They want you to be sheep. So they can call themselves sheepdogs and fancy themselves to be necessary for your survival. But the purpose of a modern-day American soldier is to fight overseas in an elaborate piece of puppet theater designed to provide a smokescreen for embezzlement of taxpayers' money. And the purpose of police is not to suppress crime. An armed population is perfectly capable of hanging thieves and robbers from the nearest tree. 10,000 Appalachian rednecks with AR-15s could solve Chicago's gang problem in a week by rounding up anyone who looked like a gangster, shooting them if they resisted, and burning down every crack house. But they can't do it humanely. They cannot do it without false positives or collateral damage. Lynchings aren't justice. But that doesn't mean they don't suppress crime. They do. Police don't exist to prevent crime. They exist to provide an alternative to lynchings. They exist to serve a justice system whose function is to do what an armed citizenry cannot, to perform deep dives into who is really guilty and innocent, to try to prevent collateral damage. Police are not there to protect you. They protect criminals from you. They are professional criminal wranglers whose job is to manage criminals with tamer methods so that you don't keep order with lynchings or just gunning down thugs in the street. We're going to discuss later how technology makes this notion obsolete. We do have the ability to do deep dives. People whose ego is built around having special status as an agent of the state don't want you to realize this. People who wield personal power through the state don't want you to realize this. They want you begging them to do their jobs instead of threatening to do their jobs for them. And that means they want you disarmed. Not so that you can't shoot each other, because you won't. Not so that you can't shoot them, because unless they get really jackbooty, you won't. They want you disarmed so you can't shoot criminals. Now, to this I ask, why do we have police and why do we have courts? Think about it. The reason we have courts is to present evidence and make sure we don't punish the wrongfully accused. We don't want to be a mob. Look what happened with the French Revolution. Many, many, many innocent people were murdered and lost their heads in that atrocity. The American Revolution, in comparison, was done logically and done according to the rule of law, according to God's law. The purpose of a court is to present evidence to make sure that we don't wrongfully punish the innocent. With technology, with the internet, with video, with Twitter, with Rumble, with Truth Social, anyone with a video camera can prove guilt or innocence. The reason Kyle Rittenhouse got off was because there was video evidence clearly of him acting in self-defense. He was not a murderer. He was not a racist. There was video evidence. Thank God there was video evidence. Thank God we have ways to record people who truly do harm us. So that's why we have the internet. In war, weapons and ammunition are important, but so is intelligence and information. So are logistics, supply chains. You got to have all three to win a war. And we can talk about the supply chain in another video, but in this program we're going to talk about self-defense weapons and intelligence and breaking down the lies of the establishment. Hollywood and entertainment were a big part of that. We're breaking that down. So if you find this content valuable, please give it a like on whatever platform you're watching this on, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Kick, or or if you're watching the podcast later. And give it a like, subscribe on whatever platform you're watching this on, and share it with your friends and loved ones. If you want to support the program, I've got a whole lot of ways you can do that. Links in the description of this program. And I'll go through a few of them as we go through this very long stream here. One way to support me is to join my Locals page. Locals is like a free speech version of Patreon, and I've got exclusive content on there that only paying subscribed members can view. And if you want to be a subscriber for $5 a month, you can also post on my board and join the conversation. So I've got this streaming now. I have my most recent exclusive content is this End of Authority or the End of Blindness, but I love Locals. I'm on Rage Golden Eagle and Salted Crackers Locals pages, and they get a kick out of my memes. So hey, if you got memes to share with me, share with a group of friends and like-minded patriots and conspiracy theorists, the more the merrier. Another way you can support the channel, I've got affiliate links up the wazoo. So, because I believe in entrepreneurship, one of these is the Dry Fire Mag. I've got one of these. Dry Fire Mag. Well, first of all, if you have it as striker fired, like a Glock, here, let me pull up my Glock. I got the Glock 19 because it's multi-purpose and it's the world's biggest selling personal firearm used by law enforcement and citizens all around the world. If you have a striker fired pistol, dry firing is a safe and effective way to practice using your firearm at home. The only problem is when you pull the trigger, it's not loaded. See, no mag. If you pull the trigger, you have to recock again in order to pull the trigger again. The dry fire mag is a way to do this over and over, to practice realistically. They come in models to support various brands of firearms, like Glock, like SIG, Smith & Wesson. I think they have Canik. You'll have to look at the website. But you put it in. The first pull of the trigger is a little hard, but subsequent ones are just fine. And I got my laser sights here. I'll tell you how to get this in a little later. And you can just practice aiming around the house, like on a doorknob or on your fan or what have you. It's not loaded. Using a dry fire mag, the deluxe ones with the built-in laser sights cost maybe $300. But considering how much actual ammunition costs and going out to the range, the dry fire mag will actually pay for itself. over time. So I use this around the house. You ought to be like dry firing 10-1 compared to range shooting, but there's that. Dry fire mag comes in brands for Sig Sauer, Glock, the Palmetto State Armory Dagger, Shadow Systems, Smith & Wesson, Springfield. So a lot of the major brands. I wish they came for a CZ because I'm really liking reviews of what I see of the CZ P10C, but I digress. So click on the link to a dry fire mag, and if you have a striker fired pistol, this is a great way to get to practice. Now, and we gotta wait for the page to load because Twitter has this hiccup. I forgot what even the next topic is. Oh yeah, Diddy. P. Diddy. He got arrested. People are saying he's Jeffrey Epstein times 10. Like he's the Jeffrey Epstein of his little corner of the world. This is what 17 Absolute Redux 76 says about P. Diddy. For those not paying attention, Diddy's in jail right now for human and sex trafficking. He'll be in jail until his trial. Diddy has ties to Epstein. Diddy has his hands in Haiti and even has Haitian voodoo goddess tattooed on his back. Diddy has ties to the Clinton Foundation. Diddy was best buds with Obama. Diddy was a handler in the hip-hop industry. I wouldn't be shocked if his handler was Epstein. It is a RICO case that will undoubtedly ensnare many more, including some very big names. Pro tip, I'd go ahead and cut loose any emotional ties you may possess to any celebrities or musicians. I've had to cut my emotional ties to the Red Hot Chili Peppers because I think Anthony Kiedis, their lead singer, he's been to the island. Well, he's on the flight records. But people like us were crazy for suggesting that a satanic pedophile ring wasn't running the world, right? Weinstein, Maxwell, Nygaard, that's Peter Nygaard. I think he's part of, I think he's in charge of Victoria's Secret. Brunel, R. Kelly, Diddy, Wexner, Seville, Jimmy Seville, who was good friends with the British royal family, King Charles. Maxwell may not have been a big enough name to trigger a mass population awakening. Diddy, however, Diddy is a big enough name. Picture getting clearer yet? We'll try to keep the I told you so to a minimum. I promise. Good chat. Signed, Conspiracy Theorists the World Over. And there's a really good thread of comments here. But look, so much ties to Haiti and Ukraine. Those two countries, for some reason, are hubs for the criminal organization that has infiltrated so many countries around the world with their, with their banking system, with their financial system, with their, entertainment network. As much as I love classic movies, especially classic action movies from the 80s, we got to disconnect from the mythos. Someone, you don't have to be like, you do have to be in shape. You have to be healthy. You can't be a fat, diabetic goober. But our population is capable of defending itself against these criminals. A lot of times, armed citizens are better trained. We practice more. We go to the range. We practice martial arts. We're better trained than a lot of the criminals themselves, so we have the advantage. And as we wait for Twitter, I love Twitter, but I hate that these pages load so slowly. It throws me off my rhythm. Swamp Drainer, I think, is the. Oh yeah, one leads to another, leads to many, according to Q. So there's Diddy with Obama. What does Q say about this? Yeah, everyone's bragging on QAnon. First of all, there's no QAnon. There's Q, who posted on 4chan, and then there are the Anons who asked Q questions and responded to Q. We don't know. From what I've seen, Q is probably a Patriot app meant to just ask questions, get the gears moving in your brain, and open your eyes up to possibilities. I never followed Q while Q was posting. All I know about Q is what I heard on X22 report. But what does Q say? Impressive, most impressive. Argument. Maxwell is not a big enough name to trigger mass awakening. Counter argument. Do not make statements based on as assumption of worth and or value. Do not think today, but rather after today. One leads to another, to another, to another. One leads to many. Crimes against children equals common denominator. No matter political affiliation, mass population awakening. Have faith in humanity. So there are more good guys than bad. We have them outnumbered. The only thing we don't have is information on how they operate. But we're getting information. That's what this whole Great Awakening has been. This is what we are in a race between the Great Reset and the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening are the good guys. Now, regarding, entertainment has been Hollywood, the music industry. Sadly, even video games have all been part false reality for us to really struggle and labor in. There's truth. Situation. Diddy arrested at alleged Jeffrey Epstein client co-conspirators NYC hotel. Sean Diddy Combs was arrested Monday at the Park Hyatt Hotel on 57th Street in Manhattan and taken into custody by Homeland Security investigations at approximately 8:15 p.m. according to CNN. Tom Pritzker is the chairman and owner of the Hyatt Hotels Corporation. Is that name familiar? Pritzker? One of the Pritzker family members is the so-called governor of Illinois. Tom Pritzker was close with Epstein and allegedly raped Virginia Giuffre after Epstein trafficked her to him. Now get this. Last year, that's Liz Crokin, reported that Pritzker had a scheduled meeting with Epstein and Bill Gates at the same Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City in 2014. You know what they say? Fate loves irony. As I've been saying, Diddy is tied to Epstein and his alleged sex trafficker, Rachel Chandler. Diddy's arrest is way bigger than you can imagine. It's the one domino that can take down the whole diseased house of cards. Hashtag. We're going to talk about the hashtag a little later, the meaning of that. But child abuse, grape, is part of the criminal syndicate's blackmail pact. That's how they prove that you're one. That's part of their initiation. That's how they get you to be loyal to them. They have dirt on everyone. Now, why Department of Homeland Security is going after Diddy now? Why should we trust DHS? We shouldn't. Alejandro Mayorkas, who's just under Kamala as the one guarding the border, he's as dirty as they come. Why should we trust DHS? Why should we trust the DOJ? We shouldn't, unless there are some white hats inside those organizations trying to counteract the bad guys, the corrupt leadership at the top. If you work for a corrupt organization like a big company or the government, and you're just trying to do your best, like I drive Uber and Lyft, I've been boycotting Uber because one of their senior managers said something horrible about the first Trump assassination attempt. I prayed about it. And God said, God told me through the Holy Spirit in my gut, said, pray for the good employees in Uber corporate in Silicon Valley. Pray Psalm 91 for them and dedicate it to them. So, if you're in a tough situation, you might be in a position to actually do something if you just open your eyes and let in the better angel of our nature, the Holy Spirit, and let them in the name of Jesus Christ. You might get ideas and inspiration on what to do. You might be in a position like Esther and Mordecai were in the Bible to do some good. So don't lose hope. Now, what does Brian Cates say? I love his Twitter handle, Drawn Strike. It's just kind of cool. Brian Cates, he's a great journalist. He's the first, Twitter personality that I've actually paid to subscribe to on Twitter. Brian Cates says they've been taking twisted sexual perverts and turning them into massive stars for decades, and not just the music industry in Hollywood. Any big, massive sphere of influence that allows them to draw powerful people in and trap or enslave them. This includes federal agencies, key members of the U.S. Congress, presidents even. As this develops, some of you out there are going to begin to understand why this had to be rolled up slowly, starting at the bottom with people like Epstein, Maxwell, and now Combs, P. Diddy. The people who shielded them and covered up for them are running out of road. They understand once all their stars are exposed, they're next. The Great Awakening. We wonder, why do we have to suffer through all this? Why do we have to wait for justice? Part of it is because we want to give the enemy the chance to repent and turn away from their evil. The other reason is this criminal network is so vast. Even though we outnumber them vastly, this criminal network is so elaborate that it's going to take time to really reveal all of it. So we got to do it step by step. We got to reveal it, piece by piece, one or a few bad guys at a time, and work our way up. You don't go for the king right away in a chess game. You take out the pawns, the rooks, the knights, the bishops first. The media is a big part of this. Entertainment is a big part of this. The news media is part of this. And we've been chipping away at the media's, legitimacy for well, they were never legitimate. But we've been, nation is part of the enemy's, operating procedure. To have, we do. The Fourth Amendment is actually just as important as the Second Amendment as far as guarding our rights. Information is key. Having secret information is vital to your self-defense. So that's why I promote NordVPN to protect your online privacy. Big, affiliate link in the description. Big tech, criminals, you don't want them looking at your browser history or your patterns. You don't want them to know what you fap to, or what you shop for online, or what you you don't want them knowing your address or your Google Maps history. A VPN, like Nord is the industry leader when it comes to VPN. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And then when you log into your VPN and you select a data center, all your information goes to your device. You can use it on multiple devices, like your desktop computer, your smartphone, your TV. Protect your browser history with a VPN. They're offering a 74 NordVPN. Way to support this program is I've got a more often. I want to do this as a job. I want to dig deep into things going on in my community around the world and offer advice and strategy and insight into what's going on, how to make money, how to survive in this weird economy, in this changing economy. Right now, I'm busy with gig work of other types. I drive Uber and Lyft. I test software. I make websites. You know, I want to make more websites for people. You know, if you're a content creator, a website is actually a great way to make money outside of YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. So click on the link to a Ziffos Web Marketing. But if you want to support me just by donation, and if you want to share the word and pray for me, hey, Gifts and Go is a great platform for that. Like I said, they partner with Rumble. Rumble has become a hub for a lot of, good free speech, patriot, activities. So go and take advantage. Now, I gotta take a sip so I don't start sounding like Robert Kennedy Jr. I do believe this tweet's about the Hezbollah pagers yesterday. Now, a lot of people are panicking. If terrorists' pagers mobile devices can explode, what's to keep my cell phone from exploding? Well, OSINT Defender on Twitter is here to reassure us. That's not so easy. OSINT Defender says, according to Sky News Arabia, the Mossad, that's Israel's intelligence service, Mossad was able to inject a compound of penterithiol tetranitrate into the batteries of the new encrypted pagers that Hezbollah began using around February, before they even arrived in the hands of Hezbollah members, allowing them to remotely overheat and detonate with the lithium battery within the device. About 2,500 to 3,000 Hezbollah members got blown up, either killed or injured. Their faces are gone. Their private parts are gone. Anywhere they were holding their pagers, they don't have those body parts anymore. What's to keep some tyrannical government from blowing up your smartphone? Well, Sneha Antani, responds to this and says, aligned to my hypothesis that this is a complex supply chain interdiction operation. It's pretty incredible. You need physical access to install explosives. You probably need a firmware update in order to have a specific number or code trigger the explosive. You need placement and access to distribute the devices to the right people. It's hard to fathom compromising the voltage controller or something to overheat the lithium-ion batteries as the attack vector, because the explosion will look like shaped charges directed toward the person wearing the pager. In addition, batteries burn. They don't explode. It's also hard to imagine a mass supply chain compromise due to the risk of the explosives being discovered and the bigger risk of a civilian accidentally being hurt. A just-in-time supply chain interdiction of pagers intended for delivery to specific targets, which would allow for physical compromise to insert shape charges and software update to use a code or a number as a trigger, seems like the simplest explanation. Absolutely epic operation that blended cyber plus kinetic actions plus information warfare against an enemy. Now, I'm no fan of the Mossad. We know from the Mar-a-Lago raid and the corruption of the DOJ that we can't trust the intelligence services in this country. Why should we trust the intelligence services of any country other than military intelligence? America has a deep state, it stands to reason that Israel has a deep state. You know, a lot of people are using this conflict as a way to gin up anti-Semitism. Look, every ethnic group has its own criminal underworld. The Italians have the mafia, the Japanese have the Yakuza, white people have, you know, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Maybe or maybe not the biker gangs. I don't know. They're kind of iffy. There's a Russian mob. Every ethnic group has a criminal underworld. It's not fair to judge an ethnic group by their criminal underworld. You know, Jesus said in the book of Revelations that there are fake Jews, people who pretend to be Jews, but they're really the synagogue of Satan. That's Revelations chapter 2, verse 9. There's also Revelations chapter 3, verse 9. I'm not familiar. I need to read that. But I just want to mention that because smartphones and mobile devices that are connected to the internet that have recording equipment are imperative in this war against the deep state, the criminal syndicate, and the criminals that are pouring over our border. You know, intelligence is part of it. I've got a link in my description to I got links to several YouTube playlists that I've curated that talk about open source intelligence, you know, OSINT for short, communication technology, also firearms education and martial arts, you know, martial arts training. Go ahead and click on those links to get my curated list of important videos and guides. I still haven't watched all of them because there's so much good stuff. But go ahead and avail yourself. But continuing on here. Do we have anything in the chat? Not according to almost video, but up to Tom Elliott. So we got to talk about the fake news. We got to talk about, you know, the crisis in Colorado and Ohio. Tom Elliott is talking about the fake news as far as regards to Trump and Vance. How the fake news sausage is made. Trump and Vance highlight stories embarrassing to Kamala Harris. Anonymous bomb threats or KKK flyers mysteriously appear, undermining Trump Vance. Step 3, media flood the zone. Step 4, bomb threats revealed as a foreign hoax, likely orchestrated by anti-Trump apparatchiks. Step 5, media keep flooding the zone with the original fake news anyway. Stats. You can see from the first chart, the corporate media spent at least 350 hours circulating the bomb threat story. That would be the bomb threats in Ohio. Note that these bomb threats reference came amidst a mention of Trump. Last night, Ohio Governor DeWine announced that the bomb threats were all hoaxes. And yet, as of this morning, only 3 hours were spent last night announcing the hoax versus 35 hours yesterday discussing the original bomb threats story. And thus far, only today, only 1 hour announcing they were hoaxes versus another 11 hours circulating the original fake news. That's why it's so important that Elon liberated Twitter for us. You know, we the citizens are the news now. Citizens have taken over the practice of journalism, citizen journalism. You know, we don't need the mainstream media anymore. The more people will understand that, the sooner we'll be free from this global tyranny. So, and that's the point of this whole program here tonight. First came citizen journalism. Now, can we implement citizen justice? Turning to the Gateway Pundit, Christopher Rufo investigation shocks video of migrants caught killing and grilling cats in Ohio. So yeah, we've got video evidence of animals being eaten and or sacrificed by the Haitians. I won't read the whole article, but it's not just Springfield, Ohio, where migrants are eating cats. Dayton, Ohio Add Dayton, Ohio to the list. To the horror of millions of Americans, last week we learned that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats. A shocking Facebook post from a local Springfield community group sparked alarm after residents shared a disturbing exchange with their neighbor regarding the safety of pets and local wildlife. We've got video on Twitter, and we have a YouTube video by Tyler, what's his name? Well, Christopher Rufo did a long article on that. Yeah, the YouTuber Tyler Oliveira traveled to Springfield, Ohio, and found reports of Haitians eating ducks, geese, and cats. He interviewed people. On Tuesday, that would be Tuesday of last week during the debate, President Trump was fake fact-checked by ABC's David Muir during the presidential debate for pointing out the crisis in Springfield, Ohio, where Joe and Kamala flew in 20,000 Haitians into a community of 60,000 Americans. This is part of what can only be described as Democrat plan to destroy America as we know it. Now, investigative reporter Chris Rufo released an explosive report on Saturday with a video of migrants killing and grilling cats in Dayton, Ohio. You can go to Gateway Pundit, you can go to Chris Rufo's website and see for yourself. That's the point of this article here. The point of this story that I want to bring up is we, the people, are doing the job that the so-called media was supposed to do, that they have actually done the opposite of. The mainstream media is the enemy of the people. And we're finding out the so-called law enforcement agencies, at least the top, are also the enemy of the people. We've got so-called FBI agents trying to intimidate, citizens over posting memes. There's a great video of that on Twitter. And the homeowner just stood his ground, videotaped these two feds, these two glowies, and humiliated them. Are all law enforcement bad? No, most of them are decent, law-abiding people just like us. But they're also, operating in the maze just like any of us are. So we got to pray for them. We got to pray Psalm 91 and dedicate to them. And we need to do a lot of, recording and investigative citizen journalism to support the true law enforcement and the true judges and the true prosecutors so they can do their jobs. In my part of the country, in Iowa, there's a great citizen journalist named Bailey Simmons, who I'm friends with on Facebook. I haven't met her in person yet, but she's becoming my role model in terms of citizen journalism. The way she does, she posts on America doing the jobs shitty. She's so on the ball. She's posted some really good inspirational content. I've become a fan just in the last couple months that I've been following her. Hey Bailey, for watching. Thumbs up. Now, Stain Haynes, on Twitter, has this great thread about money making in Ohio due to the Haitian influx, or the foreign influx of invaders. The mayor of Springfield, Ohio, is making millions by placing a third of the population of his town with Haitian immigrants. Let's take a look at such impressive abuse of power and bag chasing. Now, this is a thread. Rob Rue owns Littleton and Rue Incorporated. Littleton and Rue Inc. owns Littleton Properties of Springfield, LLC, which owns many rental properties in Springfield, Ohio. He rents out his properties to Haitian immigrants that now make up a third of Springfield using housing vouchers, which are paid for by the United States federal government. So taxpayer money is paying the rents of these Haitian migrants and filling Rob Rue's pockets. He then raises the rent to $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a month, and the Gibbs go straight to his bank account. Rob Rue then takes the properties, which he purchased for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then has them appraised for significantly lower than he purchased them to avoid having to pay property taxes. Rob Rue also petitioned the federal government for more federal aid to the housing crisis what he didn't say was he was going to benefit from the tune of millions of dollars in the process. What a weird thing to petition the federal government for when you have rental properties in the same place you were asking for help. But no one man is an island. Consider Marvina Twigg, a fat aging pig who, just like Robert Rue, has directly profited from creating a housing crisis in Ohio communities. We're going to see that real estate is a big part of the criminal network. Marvina Twigg is president and CEO of the NYAP, which is directly responsible for the importation of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Haitians into places like Ohio. National Youth Advocate Program. Okay. The organization has received nearly $300 million of your taxes and mine. Marvina makes $1.2 million a year at her work, which is focused on destroying communities and laughing all the way to the bank. NYAP removed their employees list on their website because they don't want anyone asking questions or connecting dots. Marvina Twigg, just like Robert Rue, has directly profited from creating a housing crisis in Ohio communities. Let's take a closer look. Here's an example. The top 25 real estate transactions in Central Ohio for October. This is from the Columbus Residential Real Estate Deals website. Top 25 real estate transactions in Central Ohio for October. Browse the most expensive home sales for the month, including a nearly $3 million home on the Scioto River. Oh, okay, let's keep going. 15. Number 15. 1 Miranova 825 Place, Columbus. Marvina Twigg from Belinda L. Susala and Lorian M. Dean. That effing pig. A handful of people are making a lot of money while everyone else in the community suffers. So yeah, the reason you're paying so much in property taxes and the reason your insurance is going up is because of this influx of foreign invaders. You know, the Bible says be kind to the foreigners, but a more, accurate translation of the scripture would be kind to sojourners. Sojourners are foreigners who come to your country in peace and abide by the laws of your country. They are different from invaders. The ancient Israelites fought invaders all the time. They fought the Philistines, the Assyrians, the Ammonites, or whatever, the Amalekites. They fought foreign enemies all the time. It was good and moral of them to do so. They defended the land that God gave them. Coming back to St. Haynes here, I'd like to remind everyone reading, there's plenty of room for digging. Pick up a shovel and see what can be found. I do know Catholic Charities just built a new facility in Springfield, and they're not the only group there. Some NGOs working with that one too. Haitians were given legal status by the federal government under Joe Biden, the worst president in U.S. history. He's not the president because he's the resident. Temporary protected status means the United States federal government rolls out the red carpet for Haitians. If someone at the local level, like the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, wasn't Saturday morning cartoons levels of evil, this wouldn't be happening. Keep an eye out for what is happening in Springfield, Ohio, to happen in other communities with migrants from other qualified countries. Venezuela. That's like 1/3 of Jackson Heights here in Queens, and it happened overnight. Countries currently designated for TPS. Afghanistan, Burma, aka Myanmar, Cameroon, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Ukraine, Venezuela, and Yemen. St. Haynes says, Mayor claims immigration flooded the work of several business interests. Task Force, trademark, is investigating, mostly crying about needing English and driving classes for migrants. The banality of evil is a harsh reality. There is no phantom nebulous regime pulling strings here. Immigrants living 20 plus to a house. Governments want more money to house them to give landlords to fix up homes. But guys, cat memes. It's important to archive everything because while the NYPA removed its listing of employees, the Internet Archive is a boon when looking into most things online, especially if it involves any facet of government or machinations on the local level with profound effects. Now, one thing that Bailey Simmons and also a few other Facebook creators that I follow use is a website called truthfinder.com. I signed up to truthfinder.com. I just paid their $50 subscription fee for another 2 months. Look up some of the public officials in your community, like the city council members, judges, mayor, state and local legislatures. You'll be astonished by how many own multiple real estate properties or own multiple businesses or LLCs or corporations. It can be up to the dozens. Are these dummy corporations? Are they up to shenanigans? Maybe, maybe not. Follow the money. You know, real estate. I didn't pull up this video, but Ian Carroll on Twitter has a great video tracking the link between real estate corruption and human trafficking. They go hand in hand. Not all real estate is evil. Not all realtors are evil. Of course not. But there's probably multiple signs that come together that'll tell you if a real estate investor or a landlord is doing something shitty. What those are, I don't know all of them, but I've got a good idea. So this thread goes on, but you get the idea. One of the biggest ways you can get ahead of life is to suck up and kiss the ring of the government favoritism. Now, turning to the Daily Mail here, we got to talk about Aurora, Colorado, and the Venezuelan gangs that have taken over apartment complexes. And it's not just in Aurora, Colorado. They're saying it's happening in Chicago. Who knows what it's. Daily Mail. Exclusive bombshell documents reveal Aurora, Colorado officials admitted Tren de Aragua gang had complete control of apartments despite public denials. Yeah, so you're fake news media, you're deep state flax. It's saying, oh no, it's a conspiracy theory. It's a myth that Venezuelan gangs are taking over apartments. Well, you just got a mission from the city. Bombshell documents prove leaders in Aurora, Colorado, new Venezuelan super gang Tren de Aragua had taken over 3 apartment buildings, but then denied the city had a gang problem when video of an armed takeover sent shockwaves across the U.S. Did you see that video? It was taken from someone's doorbell camera. A group of armed men with long guns speaking Spanish just kind of broke into the apartment across the hall. DailyMail.com obtained city records where staffers admitted 3 rental properties are in complete control of Tren de Aragua and claim that many more than just 3 properties are victims to the criminal infestation. As of now, the Aurora multifamily properties are in the complete control of the gangs. The police report dated June 29th states. One document had been prepared by the Aurora Police Department for attorneys of the owner of the apartment complexes, CBZ Management, turned to the cops for help. On June 27, 2024, the owners were informed that the Aurora multifamily properties have been forcibly taken over and were under the control of individuals claiming to be part of one or more gangs who have immigrated from the country of Venezuela to the city of Aurora, Colorado, the crime report reads. And you can see the report there. Oh, there's the video. This was taken from one resident's doorbell camera. The property manager of the 3 properties, Aspen Grove Apartments, The Edge of Lowry, and Whispering Pines, was told by the thugs not to go back or his life would be in danger. Gang members were also known to be armed with deadly weapons, including assault rifles and knives. So, criminals have assault rifles. They probably even have machine guns. I don't give a shit what the National Firearms Act says. It's illegitimate, according to Marbury versus Madison. Machine guns are legal. The only reason bogus laws like the National Firearms Act are enforced are because government employees have bills to pay just like the rest of us. We're on the hook due to this corrupt financial system based on debt and debt slavery. A report by the law firm detailed the chaos at the apartments, including beatings that nearly left victims dead, shootings, drug sales, and even child prostitution were taking place. The crime report was compiled before video of Tren de Aragua, as it's known to authorities, surfaced August 28th, showing armed gangsters storming units at the edge of Lowry Apartments in the Denver suburb. As outrage over the images spread across the country, Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman denied Aurora had a gang problem in an interview after interview with the media. Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman said there are several buildings that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs in the city. Now, do we need to go to war with these bad guys? Maybe, maybe not. We need to be ready to defend ourselves. Now, I will say, as a martial artist, someone who has a black belt in Taekwondo, when you learn martial arts, especially the ones from the Far East, you learn these routines called forms. You have to learn a new form or set of moves with each belt rank, and they start simple and they get more complex. One thing I'll say about forms is, in every form, the first move is defensive. It's always a block. It's never a kick or a punch. It's never offensive. It's always defensive. In martial arts, the advantage goes to the defender, not the attacker. Sparring and competition is actually pretty tricky because you don't want to be the first person to make a move against your opponent. You want them to attack you because you're trained to deflect and counterattack. Patriots, martial artists, what have you, we do not go looking for fights. We do not start fights. We end them. And just by being prepared, just by being armed, we can prevent a lot of things. In karate, they say we practice karate so that we never use it. Maybe you've heard the old phrase from ancient Rome: if you want peace, prepare for war. George Washington, I'm paraphrasing, said, to be prepared for war is one of the surest ways of securing peace. Don't start nothing, don't get nothing. That's why, when I drive Uber, I tell my passengers, hey, I have a gun, I have a couple knives, and they think it's awesome. They think, yeah, that makes perfect sense. You gotta be armed. They're not scared of me. I'm not gonna blow them away or rob them. I'm there to provide a service. They're paying me. It's like we're part of the civil society. Now, if we cannot trust prosecutors and judges to do their job and go after these criminals, we've got nonprofit groups like America First Legal to investigate. America First Legal is run by Stephen Miller, who used to be part of the first Trump administration. From what I've seen of America First Legal, they're class act. They're definitely the good guys. This article from the Denver Gazette: conservative legal organization opens investigation into Venezuelan gangs, seeks Aurora public documents. America First Legal started an investigation into what the organization describes as a growing national threat from a Venezuelan gang with tentacles in the metro Denver region. The investigation began with public information requests in 3 cities: Aurora, Chicago, and Prairie du Chien in western Wisconsin. The Biden-Harris administration's deliberate decision to open our borders to the world is what allowed the violent Venezuelan gangs to run rampant in American communities. Gene Hamilton, executive director for America First Legal, said in a statement, AFL is a national nonprofit organization created to challenge the radical left, according to the group's website. It is headed by former Donald Trump advisor Stephen Miller. The crimes committed by these aliens are, by definition, preventable, but this administration has decided to ignore public safety and prioritize the importation of hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens. The investigation seeks to identify, through public records, when the Tren de Aragua gang first penetrated the U.S. TDA was once a prison gang in Aragua, Venezuela, that recently expanded into the Western Hemisphere. This includes the Metro Denver region, where local law enforcement has already arrested gang members on various charges. So I won't read the whole article because it goes on. But you've got nonprofit, legal outfits like America First Legal. People have, I think like Justice Ventura has suggested that we do crowdfunding to pay for veterans to guard our schools. Not necessarily trust the police with that. We start crowdfunding for citizen journalists like me. We start crowdfunding for all sorts of ways to replace insurance. medical insurance, vehicle insurance. Insurance is just crowdfunding with extra bureaucracy attached to it. Like I sell T-shirts with that message on it. So yeah, I'm hustling, but so much can be accomplished with crowdfunding, and we have the technology thanks to the internet. So the internet has been a net positive for civilization. Now, before we move on, I'll tell you about a way to get some cool gear. I have created an Amazon affiliate store called the Burn Pile. Now, I showed you my Glock. I've got this laser pointer plus flashlight attached to it from Highlight Tactical, and I got that off of Amazon, or actually I got it off Highlight's own website, but Amazon sells them too. I've selected a whole lot of cool gear for tactical, survival, and all-around health. That click on the link. I got affiliate links to Amazon. These are things that I've read reviews on and things I use myself to stay, to stay armed and prevent anything bad happening to me. Go ahead and look through this. I like to select gear that serves multiple purposes because I believe in getting the most for your money. That's why I got the Glock 19, because it's good for home defense and everyday carry all in one. You can also get like an AR-15 or a shotgun for home defense, but they're not so easy to carry around in public. But that's why I got the Glock 19. I also got the Gerber Strong Arm knife that you can look up on there. Gerber Strong Arm is a very multifunctional knife. It's used for survival in the wilderness. It's got a glass breaker for urban survival. You can use it in a fight. God forbid. You can use it camping. It's all around multi-purpose knife, which just holding it makes me feel, it actually relieves me of anxiety. Like I listen to this while I listen to podcasts and doom scroll, and I just feel better. I don't know why. You're probably going to make bad jokes. But the cool thing about the Gerber Strong Arm and the Glock is they fit in this tactical sling bag made by MTAC. The MTAC bag, I can't remember the full name of the model, but it's got this pull strap, which makes it easy to open. I wear this with my Gerber and my Glock inside. I go out and I wear this while I drive Uber. It fits right over my shoulder. It stays out of the way of my seatbelt. And it makes, drawing really simple. And it's a great, option for the warmer weather months when you can't really conceal carry because you're wearing just a T-shirt over your torso and the gun prints. But, avail yourself of that. I've also got books. I've got exercise equipment, kettlebells, air purifiers, concealed seat cover with gun holster, theburnpile.com, link in description. And I also have, the Burn Pile is like an alternative meme account on Twitter that I use. It got blocked on Instagram, which means that Instagram is just a bunch of sissies, but there you go. Moving on, and take another sip so I don't sound like Robert Kennedy Jr. We gotta talk about Ryan Routh and the because really, they're not just after Trump, they're after all of us, which the last month to us.